Hey folks, we're Advancing Preconstruction conference here in Phoenix, and I have the wonderful Kyle Holmes. Now, looking at Kyle, he's got that baby face assassin look about him, right? I had him on for the NextGen series of the podcast, but he's got 8.5 years of experience, so not quite NextGen, but he's going to tell us a story.
Offense taken to that, by the way. Not NextGen anymore.
Nowhere near it. So how's things? I know that you're with Knutson.
Knutson, hard K, yeah.
Let's tell me a little bit about what you're doing with those guys, and also I'm going to bring you back to Minnesota University. I want you to tell us the story around picking a construction management degree, and what that degree was like when you were doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. So currently I'm a pre-construction manager at Knutson. I help manage a lot of our negotiated work and everything from healthcare to higher education. We do a lot of work at the University of Minnesota, which is one of our better clients, and great to do work with them. Going back to college degree, or why I went into construction, I didn't have a great answer. I think...
Did someone influence it? Like a lot of people that I speak to, their auntie, their uncle, their mother, their dad, or their brother was in construction. Was it always, even the industry, was it always construction for you?
No, I think, yes, since my career started, it's always been construction. Engineering was kind of a track that I was interested in, civil or structural engineering. And really, once I got to college, it was pretty clear that doing the actual work, putting it in place, was more interesting to me than the design or setting it up. And now a unique part of my role in the construction industry is aligned with the design team, and we work alongside those folks. And so still a little bit of engagement with the engineering just from the building side of things, which is great.
Well, it's value engineering. I mean, that to me, the amount of talks that I've been to that mentioned value engineering and the importance of it, and people. When you were at college in the construction management, how was the course? I know that universities teach it differently. Was there any pre-construction and estimating involved within the course?
There was. I would say it was more, they had two classes around estimating, and one of them was more around hard bid, traditional, bid day, do it 2 o'clock, and you're gonna rip and read your bids. That was the first course, and the second course was a little bit more on the conceptual estimating side of things. And ultimately, I think both were good lessons, but neither one really hit on the importance of a collaborative design and construction manager together, and working on those relationships, working up to successful GMPs and things like that. So
brilliant. And then obviously, if that was the case, then majority of it was work, operations, delivery side, right? Yeah. What made you, because you came out of college and went straight into estimating, and have stayed there since. Did you ever go to the field?
I didn't. Nope. Went straight from estimating into pre-con, and really I had a couple opportunities to go out and try and do some of the field side of things, and I've just enjoyed what I do in estimating and being involved. Again, like the design process and that whole workflow, I like it, and I like being involved on the front end, set things up for success, collaborate with our project teams, and then let it happen.
Brilliant. We'll just pause.
So it essentially didn't spend any time in the field, and I had a couple opportunities to along the way, but really enjoy what I do in estimating pre-con, and that part of setting up a project for success. You're involved in a little bit about everything about the project, and being that person was more fulfilling to me than wanting to go down the path of operations.
The dark side.
The dark side, no.
No, and the one thing I would say is, I would love your takeaways from that, because a lot of the people, they try everything out, so they go into different departments, but you went straight at estimating. What was the most important thing during your development with Knutson that you think, that really brought me on as an estimator? Yeah,
that's a good question. I think in the moment, really the size of our company, what we do in revenue in a year is about $500 million. So we're not a monster, but we're not a small mom and pop. And what that allows is we have resources and technology that's just as good as some of the big players in town, but we're also nimble and able to adjust. And you got to wear a lot of hats. We just don't have 130 estimators. We had at the time when I started 4. And so it's, you're not just gonna count Division 10 items all your first couple of years of your career. You're gonna be getting into MEP and civil and earthwork. So really, I think that's what helped me to advance as quickly as I did, was we're playing on big projects, but we have to kind of get into everything. We can't delegate out every element.
Yeah, you're a more rounded estimator, because I mean, I deal with clients all the time, and they only put their estimators into divisions, and they might stay there for the rest of their careers.
Sure.
Will it be Division 8 or whatever. And then with Mika as well, he was on the podcast and did a very, very good episode. If you haven't seen that, I'll put it in the show notes. Brilliant. You're very, very technologically focused. Is that the main reason that you came to Advancing Preconstruction, or how are you finding the conference?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the technology, Precon technology, I'm a huge fan of, and that's part of our sales pitch too, is we've got a lot of smart tech-driven people in our group. So I have a passion for like leveraging the right tools to do the right thing, but also seeing through, finding the golden nuggets amongst all of the dirt that's out there. I mean, there is a lot of technology available, and not all of them are perfect, and not all of them are good in terms of like what we can actually do that's owner facing and that they can look at and see and looks aesthetically pleasing, but also is effective in making us more productive as we go through. So it is a balance, and I think that's part of Micah and I's relationship. Is we have a similar vision in terms of, let's use the right tech for the tool. Let's not just do this, whatever it could be. Let's use the right tech that's going to help us be productive and show off to our owners a little bit.
And Kyle, is that like the R&D, the research that is involved? I'm speaking to a lot of people that are looking into Precon Tech right now, and I see them at their demo, but they don't seem to be allocating enough time to really dive into the technology. I mean, I was at a BECTech demo for Landmark yesterday, and the chief estimator literally spent half an hour in a demo, and he and his company are probably going to make a decision on that. I mean, how much of a research and how much do you get involved in the technology? It's
a good question, especially around, I mean, again, myself and some of the other people I work with, we're nerds, and so we'll get texts from each other at 8:30 like, hey, check out this new thing, or check out, so we're doing those things. I think what's beneficial is finding the tech companies that have spent the time to put demos on YouTube and other things like that, where you can jump into the technology and see it a little bit more. I know that that's probably not strategic from a sales side of things, but I will say, like, the ones that we have been able to go on, Assemble is one that has really good online resources that we're able to go on and see what it does, see what it looks like, see what it feels like, and do that in 20 minutes, make that determination that this is good, rather than seeing a handful of one or two screenshots from software's website, and then that dreaded button of schedule a demo. That's really tough. That's when time goes into it, and especially because you want to bring 8 of your people to the table to make that decision, and coordinating a schedule for 8 people is a month out, right? So it's really hard. So anyway, if I can ask the tech world of Precon software anything, it's like, just get more out there so that we can see it really quick and get a look and feel. And then that schedule a demo side of things is tough. It's really tough for us to, again, a company our size, to free up enough time for the right amount of people to sit there and watch a demo.
Yeah, and that's why the conference is amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's concentrated. You're here. You turn off your email for a day.
You can have 4 or 5 demos in 2 days.
Exactly.
Before you know it, you've got a good idea of how relevant your tech stack is and how up to date it is as well. Now, absolutely. Talk to me, Kyle, about Chat GPT.
Love it.
Right? Love it. Have you integrated into your processes, your procedures, just in your day-to-day work?
I think individually a couple people have, and I know I've used it to write a proposal and a couple emails if they're a little bit longer, and it can spit out some information. It takes a little cleaning and a little bit of vetting, but I mean, just the type of proposal where you're just going to talk about generic value engineering and what you can bring to the table for your pre-con fee. It can spit that information out instantly in an impressive amount of time. Part of what is missing there is their data stopped aggregating in 2021, so September 21. So You want to ask it about escalation, you're kind of out of luck, because it's kind of put a line in the sand at that point in time.
Yeah, but it's amazingly useful. I mean, we use it in our process and procedure. Is there anything out there right now that you would like technology to solve, to fix? And then is there any technology out there right now that you're really excited about coming down the line?
Yeah, I think what's still missing is, it seemed like, at least when I started my career, there was this huge promise of, let's skip 2D drawings, let's go straight to 3D, right? And like let's get, like, that's the exciting, motivating part of that world. And I don't know, maybe the pandemic hit part of that, but there's just been, that promise is still there, and it still hasn't quite gotten there yet. And I think that takes a collaborative approach and like rethinking, I think, contracting structures, everything, right? Like if you're going to rely on this model to have rebar in the right spot, and that's how you're going to go into the field and build it, and write your contracts around this file instead of a PDF, it's rethinking how that's done. So that's still a promise. I hope it gets there, right? And that's what I would want to see. And then from a pre-con perspective, a technology, some of the stuff that we're starting to see from like Join and ConCntric are really great, like owner interfaces for getting data out there that's clean, it's concise, it's not, grids of spreadsheets, but it's like, I mean, make it the Chipotle menu of selection, right? It's clean, it's clear what you're selecting, you know what you need to know, it's all right there. You can make that decision as you go, and instead of just having, if the Chipotle were to list every caloric piece and of the puzzle all in one spot, you would get overwhelmed. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
So
visually, it's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
And that's what we want. I mean, we're not saying that the developers are stupid.
No, absolutely not.
But but you know yourself, you've got the permissions within these data sets and the data within the pre-construction, the 360 model. You're able to give them the right permissions so that they can see the right stuff, and just give them enough information that they can answer a lot of questions.
Absolutely. And it's got to look clean and have that I don't know, that premium feel to it too, that you want to come to the table, show, hey, we're using the best tools available. One of the tools, I won't name names, but one of the tools we just started implementing looks like it looks like Windows 7, and we're on Windows 11 right now. And like even that little thing, to somebody in my, again, I'm not a junior anymore in your book, but maybe I'm a sophomore. Anyway, somebody in my level, I see that. I see that this looks like Windows 7, and I'm not impressed. Right? And immediately we kind of wrote that software off and had to go through the demos and all that. But
I mean, it's good to do that as well. But you're right, visually, and again, the generation that's coming through, they're all comfortable with technology. Yep. They're all comfortable, and they are whizzes. So the sooner we get it adapted, the better for everyone.
Yeah, and it matters. Those things matter. The aesthetic, user interface, the way it looks and feels, 100% matters.
The best companies use the technology as a recruitment tool as well, because that's what they're all asking. They're not asking they are asking what the culture is like, what the salary, what all this, but they're now starting to ask, what technology do you use?
Well, those will be the differentiators, right? If salary and culture, everything else is the same, the technology can be a differentiator. And culture, I guess culture is one of those differentiators too that we lean into at Knutson. So,
Kyle, you're a legend.
Hey, that's rude. Just kidding.
Right, listen, if anybody's got any questions for Kyle, he's obviously touched on a lot of things. If there's something there that you want to ask him, I know that him and Mika are really open, they're really collaborative, so you want to ask them a question, it's okay to put up your LinkedIn profile?
Absolutely.
Yeah, best way to contact them is through LinkedIn. Kyle, thank you very much.
Thank you.